ReefBum is sponsored by Bulk Reef Supply and Ecotech Marine. Hey everybody, and welcome back to another video. So I wanted to provide an update on the 187 gallon tank Reboot, but before I do that, if you want to help support the channel and pick up some SPS frags, you can visit reefbum.com. And with that, let's get into the video. So it has been about 6 weeks since I swapped out the Haitian live rock for this Carib Sea live rock that's in the tank right now. Completely turned this tank upside down, and as you can see, there is some cyano on the bottom of this tank, a little bit on the rocks. Not a total surprise, not a real surprise at all. One thing that I knew would happen is that once I removed a lot of the corals from this display tank, and there was a lot of coral encrusted on the Haitian live rock that I just subtracted from the system. I also removed some of the larger colonies, saved some chunks, but there was some coral that I did remove completely from the system. So the coral, I believe, was sucking up a lot of the nutrients, the nitrates, and the phosphates. Another thing that I did after I made the swap of the rock was to double down on my bioload. So I pretty much doubled the amount of fish I had in this tank. I added a whole bunch of lyre-tail anthias and some green chromis. So those were two big factors that came into play. I also was not using any macroalgae like I had been a long time ago for this tank. I'd been dosing bacteria. I'm still dosing bacteria. I'm dosing a different bacteria by Captivate Aquaculture, the Remediate. So I'm just getting into that. I'm no longer dosing the Microbacter 7 and the Microbacter Clean from Brite Wells. That's a bit of a transition. So there's a lot of things going on in this tank. And so again, it does not surprise me that I'm getting some cyano. There's an imbalance going on, and things just need to kind of settle down in this tank. And I think I'm getting close. I'm getting very close to planting some frags in the tank. But so what will I do to try to get rid of the cyano? Well, I'm going to do a couple of things, and I've talked about this before a lot, that I don't believe in using chemicals to treat a problem like cyano, like ChemiClean. I think that it's a Band-Aid. I believe in good old-fashioned elbow grease. So I'm going to do a couple of things. One is I am going to add some more circulation to this tank. I have right now 3 MP40s inside the tank for recirculating pumps. This is what I had before I did the Reboot. And as you kind of see, the alveopore and the goniopore, they're sort of waving gently in the current, and I really don't want that. Even though I had some SPS that just thrived in the tank before, this is going to be an SPS dominant tank. So some of the alveopore and goniopore are definitely going to be gone. I'm going to cut back on some of the LPS. I'm going to add another MP40, so I'll have 4 MP40s, and I think that should certainly help with the cyano. Another thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to add some macro to the equation. I'm going to do this do-it-yourself algae scrubber, and I'm not going to get into the details in terms of the do-it-yourself part of this equation because it's an experiment. I'll see how it goes. If it's worthwhile coming back and talking about it, I will. So yeah, I just want to add some macro to the equation in terms of helping to export more of the nutrients. But overall, I think this is not a surprise that the tank is at this particular stage. There's a couple of good positive points. One is that I'm starting to see a lot of coralline algae on the rocks. So the plus there is that with the coralline algae encrusting on the rocks, it'll be a less of a chance for the cyano to get onto the rocks. The other positive thing is that early on after the Reboot, I had a good amount of this, what I think was green cyano, and I'm seeing much less of the green cyano at this point. So we're getting close. We're getting really, really close. I'm taking my time on this thing. I think in a couple of weeks, I'm going to start planting some frags, but I'm really, really jazzed about planting a lot of awesome, beautiful, colorful frags in this tank. I've kind of been squirreling away a bunch of really, really cool SPS in my 50-gallon frag tank. Really excited about it. I seem to have collected a lot of millies. I love millies. So I've got some real kick-ass millies that are just growing very nicely in the tank, and should hopefully do very well in this display tank. Jaw dropper, really, really psyched about adding the jaw dropper. I've got some other really cool old-time classics, some beautiful, beautiful corals. This is a Jason Fox Sunny Driver, I believe. I got it as about a 1/4-inch nub. It was white. I thought it was dead. Now it's come back to life, sprouting some branches. Looking pretty good. The Rainbow Splice. Got this piece as totally green. I think I see some hints of pink in there, so hopefully that will emerge more over time. But yeah, so that's the deal in terms of the reboot and the status. Like I said, my plan is in a couple weeks to start planting some of these frags to get into the display tank. But I will keep you folks up to date and posted on the progress. So if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Until next time, be safe, be well, later.
We'll be right back.